to Deliciously with Ara. Ngayon gagawa tayo ng potato soup. You want to tell your friends to try? So this potato soup, it's a clear broth soup. And very simple to make. All we really need to have is potatoes. And normally, ginagawa ng mga mommies during breakfast when we have to quickly come up with a soup, like just to serve like a hot meal. And you can always do this, and it gives us the fullness of the flavors of potatoes. So tara na! So first, we need to cut our potatoes around 2 to 3 depending on the size. Dahil ito ay parang isang mabilisan lang ng gawin, we have to cut it very thinly para mabilis lang siya maluto. So we'll cut it very thinly. So I've cut my potatoes na manipis lang dahil hindi talaga siya pwedeng matagal maluto, but it's really up to you what kind of size you want to cook. And because I'm pretending it to be like a breakfast soup, ilalagay ko lang siya agad sa aking pot. So I've already cut up my potatoes, and actually this is a very simple version dahil normally in other Korean traditional ways we kind of make the broth first, but dahil nga I'm just trying to minimize our ingredients, we can also use this. And after we put our potatoes, maglalagay tayo ng tubig. Because I prepare around 2 to 3 potatoes, so it's really up to you kung gusto niyang masabaw or not, but my ratio is normally I get 1 potato to 1 cup, but it's really up to you kung gusto niyo magdagdag ng sabaw. So roughly we'll just put 3 cups of water. Two, 3, and then pakukulanan natin siya. So I'll turn on the fire. And as I wait for my potato to boil, this is tashima, or it's like parang seaweeds na dried. We normally use this for like a lot of Korean broth and soups. So if you can have an access to tashima, it's also good to use this kind of soup with tashima. But if wala kayong tashima in the house, you can still just, use plain water. So dahil meron ako, I'm just gonna show you just, it's parang tuyo siya ng seaweeds. I'm just gonna drop it there off and boil it together. And while I wait for my potatoes to boil, I'm gonna cut off my onions. So I have 1 small white onions. Ika-cut ko rin siya na parang kasing shape ng ating potatoes. So ngayon nahiwa ko na yung aking onions. We're all gonna drop it there in our soup para 1 luto na lang siya. Because the concept here is, di ba, pabilisan na pagluto. And we'll just roughly give it a stir. And I'm gonna add around 1/2 tablespoon or around 4 cloves of garlic. It's really up to you if you want to add more, but roughly that 1/2. And maglalagay tayo ng patis or toyo. It's really up to you what you want to use. But I prefer toyo for now, and later we can add with a patis to get the taste. But for toyo, don't go more than 1/2 teaspoon or else magiging masyado dark brown ang ating sabaw. So just around 1/2 tablespoon. So around 7 minutes has passed. Dahil kumukulo na siya, I'll open our pot. And then tatanggalin ko yung aking tashima, which is the seaweed that we use for broth. But of course, if wala kayong tashima, don't worry so much about it. And dahil hindi ko siya binabad yung potato sa ating water, and potato itself is very starchy, pag nagkakaroon siya ng sabaw, nagkakaroon siya ng parang bubbles. So I'll just remove the bubbles slightly with our sandok. Para lang makaroon ng clear ang ating soup. And we have only seasoned our soup with soy sauce kanina. So now I'm gonna add some salt and our patis, either or if you want all, you can, depending on your taste bud. So I'll use around 1/2 teaspoon of patis. I just really love the taste of patis. Like 1/2 teaspoon. And then I'm gonna use salt, pampahabol lang ng lasa. And then we'll just roughly give it a stir. And actually, as long as the potatoes are cooked, our soup is good. So tikman lang natin just to see if we have to add more salt. Perfect. I'm gonna turn off the fire, but before I turn off the fire, I'm gonna add some leeks just to give a little bit of a color brightness. And we'll put it on our soup. Our potato soup is complete already. Ganito kasimple lang. So, tada! Here's a very simple potato soup that you can easily make to supplement our very hot meal, especially for breakfast or for kids. Very simple but very masarap. So, enjoy! It's a very simple, very healthy. You can taste the fullness of the flavor of the potatoes. Very simple dish, but I think it's a very good meal for all of us.